There we are.
There we are. Welcome back, everybody, to Bingothon Summer 2024. We are entering our spooky block with Resident Evil 5, a Blackout Bingo. We have like two teams versusing each other. We have the chefs and the baguettes. So the chefs consisting of Yatogami and markiobros, and the baguettes are PhenoMikel and Meteoor. So it looks like we have a cuisine-inspired team names here. I wish you folks good luck, and thank you so much for all of you generous donors that we could meet the donation incentive for the no infinite ammo option. Thank you so much, and with that, I'll give it over to you folks. The stage is yours.
Thanks, Pug, for the no infinite ammo there.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Y'all, the chefs, you gotta cook.
All right.
So is everybody ready?
Yep.
No.
Just making sure.
As much as I can be, considering I don't have infinite rocket.
I am real quick trying to make the screen watchable for myself.
Fair enough.
While you're doing this, I wanted to remind everybody, I totally was on top of my head. I forgot to let everybody know that we are, of course, raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Find the links below the stream to donate. And also we have a sponsor for the event, which is still Pheno Customs. I wanted to give them a shout out. In my excitement, I forgot this in the intro, so please forgive me. But with that, I hope I could bridge the gap you needed to adjust the stream for yourself, maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, Zed, you'll have a fun time. I believe you're the host for this shift, right?
Well, I am definitely the host for this shift, yeah. But it could be that during your run, we should have a takeover. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I'll just vibe with it. It's gonna be fine.
No biggie. then at least Gears know. Also, there's no serious moment or anything. So if you want to jump in for reminding people or anything like that, you can just do that.
Yeah, feel free to interact. It's just
feel free to ask questions to Gear because he pretty much knows it all. And
Gear is
put me on the spot here.
we definitely are going to put you on the spot.
It's
Sounds
bad because
good.
You say that, and I remember all the sell prices for every treasure in this game still. Oh, the pain.
Madness.
All right. With that, I believe everyone is ready now.
Yeah. When can we reveal the board?
Yeah, as soon as we get switched, so as soon as we start, because we have 2 minutes of walking. So in that walking situation, we can just discuss what the plan is.
Enter walking simulator.
Walking simulator. Yep.
And I will say quickly to the chat, if you're wondering why their inventories look as messed up as they do, thank you very much whoever donated and made it so
My guy
that
Pog right there. My guy Pog, 100%.
This is not what it looks like normally.
You are a legend. Because now they have to suffer through randomized inventory. They will have no strategies that will work correctly.
No, we don't.
In
No. You're right. I came into this like, yeah, we're going to do fine. And then Pog is like, you're wrong, sir. You're wrong.
But it is nice because we'll see a lot of strategies that they'll use in a speedrun sense, especially like Pheno and Meteor. They'll be using the second pistol in the game because it has piercing. So it's a bit more useful compared to using the M93R, which we'd normally use, because that just runs through ammo, and they, of course, don't have any. So yeah, it'd be great to see.
So, just a quick question. I've enabled, as the Chris character, the Gatling gun, or the chain gun. That is infinite ammo. Is that ruled out?
Because that's ruled out. No special weapons.
Oh, really?
No special weapons.
Let me
no special
remove that.
weapons.
I wanted to get that out of the way first. 'Cause,
That's actually a good question because I asked Bingo to buy. A
yeah,
Gatling.
because it's an in-game, like when you purchase the weapon, it's
Yeah,
automatically
you
not like
you
a.
can't change it, but it
Yeah.
since it always has infinite ammo, yeah, it's banned.
Okay, that's good. Well, it's not, but I guess we don't know.
Yeah, it's not good for you, but like,
I guess at this point I'll just take some more ammo.
Oh,
So just quickly, who's doing the honours of counting them down?
you.
Oh. Fun. Well, let me know when all 4 of you are ready then.
We are ready.
we are.
100%, yeah?
I mean, as good as we can be, right?
And events. Okay. Well then, since you're all ready, shall we get starting?
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a 5-second countdown. You guys ready?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Let's go.
So I'm already looking at this board, and wow.
Chris, Sheila, can you read me?
Open 15 chests, look at the giant stone head.
Yes.
These are going to be very interesting. I really don't know how they're going to get all these done.
That's where Irving will be.
Grandpa's kids cook a new recipe.
Is there an issue in the bingo board because the baguettes already have?
Oh, that might be a bit of a problem.
Grab your weapons. The operation's up.
I'm not sure if that's the background color and the different colors.
Remember, we're a team. Whatever happens.
No, if you look at the numbers.
Don't worry. I may not be as big as
Oh
you,
yeah.
but I can still hold my own.
I'll jump into the team voice chat and ask them. Okay, just got confirmation from laptop. Okay, everything's being taken care of. Cat's already won. Yeah, run is over.
As we see here, general NG plus strats here. You'll see a lot of this when they're like running into doors, and you'll probably be wondering why is there called running into the door. So there's actually a cool little glitch, so to say, that we do in speedruns where if you kick a door with your co-op partner running into it, they can actually shoot through it like a rocket. So hopefully we'll see a bit of that during this run.
The locals were hostile and we had to use force. We don't have any contingency plans for this situation, do we, Kirk?
But we're coming up on the beginning of 1-1.
What does that mean?
Unfortunately,
Is
this
HQ
chapter is
expecting this?
very slow, and there'll be a lot of doing nothing, because unfortunately there is a massive auto-scroller in this chapter, and we just kind of have to always sit through it. It takes about 6 minutes. It's not too bad. There's a lot you can do, but there's also a lot of places where you can stand and the enemies just won't come after you. So we know, literally, it's normally a type of thing. Everybody just puts their controller down and does something for 6 minutes and comes back. It doesn't look like a speedrun. But no, so here we go. We got Pheno and Michael going into the auto-scroller now. Closely followed by Yato. And hopefully we'll see our first strat here. They might be using the grenade launchers to do a quick executioner. But I highly doubt it due to the fact that it's bingo. We shall see. So it looks like both of them opting not to do the grenade launcher strat. Which is fair enough. There we go, there's the board. Defeat you two without insta-kills. Oh my. Obtain the Heart of Africa. So a lot of these, from what I'm seeing, they will definitely have to go out of the way a lot. Pull off 20 headshots. That should probably be done in this chapter. You'll probably see both of them going for this one. And then fully upgrade a weapon. I dare say we'll see one runner from each team trying to fully upgrade a weapon. Get an S rank at 3-3. Ah, I see. Whoever made this board is a real troll. But yeah, so as far as the weapon goes, unfortunately, due to the money, this will be what they'll do at the end of this chapter. To get the max weapon, they'll have to fully upgrade it, but of course, everybody on this save, Kurt's NG Plus, will have a lot of money, so they will just mash for it.
Speaking of money, there's something I would like to announce, if now is a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I have to make a very, very big and very special announcement here at Bingothon Summer 2024 because we have surpassed $1,000 for Doctors Without Borders. Thank you so much, everybody, for donating.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great cause.
The absolute amazing GOAT donation that we got to surpass this milestone was, well, the previous runner from Sea of Stars, ADM, Angry Demon Noises, has donated $100. Well, the comment says, shh, but I took the liberty to shout you out nonetheless. So thank you so much for this generous donation. And not only that, but also now the high trap settings for Amnesia the Bunker are now enabled for Pika in the next run. And also the Amnesia the Bunker run, which is the next one, still has one open incentive. That is if you want to have the low resource settings for Pika, our event organizer. It's now sitting at 20 out of $50, so $30 during the course of this Resident Evil 5 run. I think it's possible. Keep the donations coming. Click the button below the stream, type !donate in chat, and get the money for Doctors Without Borders going. Thank you so much.
So what we're seeing right now in the left corner with Yato and Markio is they're doing what's called DA minute. So essentially what's happening is Yato is just getting himself killed, put into a dying state, and every time that happens, it minuses 1,000 off the DA statistic, of which there is 14,000. And the reason he's doing this is just so that in later chapters, all the enemies are basically going to be very docile, they're not going to attempt to attack him. It's probably not needed in this setting, but it's just every little bit helps. But yeah, if you're wondering why he was constantly shooting himself in the feet, that would be why. We've already got our first challenge done, pull off 20 headshots, and we have another challenge coming up soon. Defeat enemies with a knife, Pheno and Meteor going for it. Oh, and save partner 10 times. Oh, I didn't even see that one, so that's what they were doing there. Already knocking out a few of them. I'm not sure if there's any more they can go for here. Maybe defeat Furimagini with a nade. They could go for that one in this chapter if they try for it. But they'll probably save that for a later chapter. Make the crab eat 3 nades. I'm interested. It's very interesting to see, like, a lot of these are more towards 5-1. Pheno and Meteor just doing a bit of DA minute there as well themselves. And then Yato and Markio are currently standing in a place where the enemies can't interact with them too much. So they won't be taking too much damage anymore, they're just waiting out for the cutscene. Oh, and Pheno and Michael get another one. Very nice. So we're all tied up, leaving 1-1, which is really good. We'll probably see them go for the a few speedrun strats in this next chapter, maybe grenade throws, but it depends if they want to save their nades more for the defeating the Magini. But as I said, this chapter, it likes to just draw itself out. It's very long, it takes a very long time to finish, and it's all just because it's an auto-scroller. So I think, if I remember correctly, there is a clear the chapter with only a knife. I believe during preparations for this, Pheno and Meteor said they'd try and do that in 1-2, so we might see that here.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm gonna take out the door.
But then they might also go for the BSA emblems, so they might have to change their strategy here. There we are, 1-1 done, moving into 1-2. Again, thank you very much whoever didn't allow the infinite ammo, because now they have to do a lot of inventory here.
Kirk, we owe you one.
And there's the fully upgraded weapon.
Chris, Sheva, it's almost time for Alpha Team to go in. Hurry to the deal coordinates.
Roger that.
I'm going on ahead. We'll meet up there. Good luck.
The
And now we're
Durham
moving into
outed themselves as the one who did the donation.
You are an absolute great guy. Thank you very much. Of course, this run is, especially in a speedrun sense, it's very linear. When we have infinite ammo, you can basically do the whole run with just the 9 blocks of inventory you'd normally have, and you wouldn't really have to change anything. But of course, now they've had to change what weapons they're using, especially. As you see with like Pheno and Meteor, they're using the second pistol you get in the game, and that is because it has a exclusive upgrade, which is very common in a lot of the Resident Evil games, and it basically increases the penetration of the weapon. And they're using that mostly for when the guys with shields start spawning in, because that way you can shoot through the shield, hit the Magini, and cause a stun animation, and it will save you time throughout the run. Because we'd normally just use a rocket launcher to get rid of them all. So I'm pretty sure Pheno and Meteor still haven't done a shot, so they are doing the knife only strat here. Yeah, they didn't throw the nade at the door, so yeah, they're going for knife only. Both of them choosing not to go for the grenade strat on the door. I believe we'll see a furnace here. Due to the limitations in weapons, I think Pheno and Meteor are going to go for the furnace kill on the boss coming up, whereas Yato and Markio will probably use a rocket launcher, so they should be pretty tied out at the end of this chapter. Is there any more they could get here? Yes, use the furnace to defeat Ouroboros, so yes, they will be possibly both going for it. Honestly, I think the hardest challenge in the block that I've seen so far is obtain the Heart of Africa. Because of the limitations with the Jill boss fight, they'll have to actually take their time to pick that treasure up before fighting her. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Okay.
And here's an interesting little trick that Pheno and Meteor are doing. So one of them is staying by the door to trigger the cutscene. And that way they'll both get teleported as soon as the key is picked up here, just like so. And now they're both in the boss fight. So when it comes to Pheno and Meteor, they are new game specialists, so this furnace kill should go quite smoothly for them. But we'll see. His pattern can change depending, so we just see Pheno trying to lead him in here slowly. And that should do it. And then of course Markio and Yato will probably go for the rocket strat here. And there we go. So Yato and Markio will be able to go into the next chapter a bit quicker. So they'll have a chance to clear any of the 2-1 boards. So I know there's the open the door later in the chapter with a grenade, so they can go for that first. But it is a very hard strat, and it's very easy to mess up. So we'll see if they go for it. But Pheno and Meteor now in the lead, absolutely destroying this bingo board so far. And we move into 2-1. It'll be interesting to see because they're not allowed to use the Gatling gun. So that door, the grenade door as we like to call it, can be done a number of ways, but no infinite ammo, so they can't use the minigun. There's the electric round strat, which they can use, or they'll go for the nade. It's a very interesting lineup. They'll probably use keyboard and mouse, so you'll see a funny reticle when they go to do it.
So currently it looks like the chefs are a bit behind on their bingo goals. However, I want to assure that there is some love for this team because we have a $5 donation from Jake78N with the comment, "Go Chefs!" So despite them being behind, there are people cheering for them. And yes, everything is still open. The run is far from over. I believe they can still catch up.
Oh, absolutely. There are many of these cards here that are later in the chapters, and as we see right now, because of the strategies they'll be going for, you'll see a lot of slowing down between Pheno and Meteor, and this is where Yato and Markio can definitely push forward into the later chapters quicker and go for the later on game ones. Neither of them dying to the truck. Always good. Yato taking a hit there. But they're basically neck and neck, so going into the end of 2-1 here, Yato deciding to shoot a BSA emblem, Pheno and Meteor do the same. And Markio surprisingly deciding to do a tactical reset there. So they're doing that just to bring their positions closer together. Doing a quick heal as well, nice. But I think we'll see Pheno and Meteor going for the unlock the door in 2-1 with a nade, as they will most likely reach there first. And then
My God.
from there, that'll probably be the only card they'll check off this chapter.
So
we see Pheno
I must.
there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, carry on.
I wanted to throw in a question, but if you have something to comment, then that's all fine.
Oh no. Throw in the question. Go ahead.
Okay, so I must confess I'm very Resident Evil illiterate. I've never really played a single game, and in the break I made the notion, and I think I was wrong there. I made an allusion to the rock punching scene, but I believe this is in Resident Evil 6, correct?
So the boulder punch is actually in Resident Evil 5.
Is it in 5? It is in 5. Ah, so I made the correct.
Unfortunately, the reason a lot of people will get that mixed up is because you'd never see it in speedruns anymore, because of the way we defeat Wesker. Instead of doing it the normal way, where you punch the boulder, rekindle with your partner, and fight him atop a massive volcano, we just turn around during a cutscene, climb up a rock, and then shoot him with a rocket, and he just dies. It's very quick, very anticlimactic. It's a bit unfortunate. There are some speedruns that we do where the boulder punch is necessary, so you would be more looking towards low percent. But that's because we do that run knife only, so a lot of that fight is done where we're just slowly walking away from him, like, please don't kill us, whilst we wait for cutscenes to play out.
I see. Well, I learned something today, so thank you for clearing that up, and now I know a little bit better about the lore and meta of the RE series.
And there we go, Pheno and Michael getting the grenade there for the 2-1 door. And then I believe... Are they going to do the jump over? Oh no, they're doing the backwards nade. So as you see there, Pheno and Meteor, they threw the nade from down where the stairs were at the front door. That's because you can do a very weird arcing with the grenade to make it land and destroy a barrel. Whereas you'd have seen Yato there throwing it off the sign on the balcony. Of course, in a speedrun, that loses time, but it adds to the consistency because it's 100% guaranteed. And right here they're doing the new game strat for the Chainsaw Magini, where you use Incendies to permanently stun him so that he's easier to pick off. Also, funny little tidbit just quickly for anybody that wants to run this game, but decides to do it mostly on console. Any of these cutscenes where you see that you've got a co-op partner with you and there's multiple sections where you have to press a button, don't skip through them too quickly, because otherwise it is very commonly, and it's a massive meme in our community, where it will cause disconnects. It just likes to randomly disconnect the other player who's off host. So yeah, make sure you watch the cutscenes fully. Of course, on PC you can skip through them because the internet holds up a lot better. But going into 2-2, and Pheno and Meteor are absolutely storming ahead. It is still possible for Yato and Markio to come back, but they probably need to disregard a lot of the smaller ones they were hoping to do and just push for the chapter ones. Doing a bit of inventory management now.
Sheva, you know where the mines are?
So it'll be interesting to see what they do here, because we do an interesting strat in co-op, where this is a very common scene in RE5. Everybody remembers it. You have to go into the mines and pick up the flashlight because it's so dark. Well, during a speedrun, we never pick it up. We just run through the darkness and hope we make it to the end. So it'll be interesting to see if either team decides to do that. So, Pheno and Meteor opting not to pick it up. It will be hard to tell where they're going. They should be coming up on the bridge now. There's the bridge. So they'll bait out the enemies there and keep running through. Oh, both teams are opting to do it. So of course the problem with doing this is if one of them accidentally wanders off the beaten path a bit, it is so dark, you will have no idea where you're going anymore. But Pheno and Meteor making it through. And Yato and Market all taking a hit there. Yato seeming to get a bit lost. Ah, there we go. Both of them made it through. So it'll be interesting to see if either of them go for the, well, I'm assuming one of them will have to. Defeating the 2-2 boss without an RPG. Or guns. It is possible. They're mostly following the low percent strat, which is using mines to blow him onto the side and then just knifing his belly. I don't think Pheno and Meteor will go for it. I think they might just keep going onwards for the chapter-specific ones. And here we see Pheno and Meteor doing a very specific tactical reset. That's just to get them both closer together. So whenever you see checkpoints in this game, there is a way to reset. If you just reset the game and then immediately load back in, you'll teleport to each other. So whoever set off the checkpoint, the other person will teleport directly behind them. So you'll see it a couple of times in the run where we like to reset, and it's just to teleport the other player closer.
Delta team, Chris here. We located Irving, but he got away.
Do you know where he went?
We think he's heading for an oil field in the marshlands.
Okay.
And here we see Pheno and Meteor going into the boss. Will they go for the no RPG or gun kill? So using grenades. Oh, they're doing it all with grenades. That is a very interesting strat. Will it work? It worked! Oh my god, they pulled that off amazingly. That is insane. So they went in preemptively with a load of nades, thinking they could do it with just nades. That is insane. So Pheno and Meteor already on 11. So Markio and Yato are going to have to absolutely tear for the next couple of chapters if they want to catch up. And now we're coming, Pheno and Meteor on my favourite chapter, as I like to say. It is 2-3 in Desu. Again, this is one of the famous RE5 auto-scrollers. It is the second one in the run. Luckily the last one. And it's basically just 6 minutes of put your controller down and just press the one trigger, and that is it. So if you have any questions or anything like that you'd like to ask, now would be the time.
Well, nothing to ask right now, but I want to remind our chat, our viewers, that we are in our spooky block for the morning. And after this RE5 run, we have Amnesia the Bunker coming up from Pika, one of the main organizers of Bingothon. And while one of the donation incentives has been met for the higher trap count, there is still the low resource setting that can be met. We are sitting at 20 out of $50. That means we still need $30 to go to reach that donation incentive. So if you want to have Pika suffer a little bit more as a thanks for his organizing Bingothon, then you can throw in $30. And I think he'll appreciate it if we give him the donation incentives that he came up with.
I gotta say, it's one of the things I always find interesting with speedrun or bingo marathons is the incentives to make people suffer more. It always makes me laugh because, especially with this, with the no infinite ammo, it is just great to see that they've had to immediately change their inventory to what they normally do. It definitely adds an extra kick to the run.
Looks like the only way we're getting answers is from...
So if you regularly run this category, would you actually make vivid use of the infinite ammo capability?
Yes, absolutely. So the majority of the run is done with 4 single weapons or 4 individual items, and that is the VZ61 machine gun, the M9 3R pistol, the rapid fire free shot, the infinite rocket launcher, and the grenade launcher. And the only one of those weapons that can't have infinite ammo is the grenade launcher, but we don't use it enough to really need it anyway. There's a couple of strats we would do with freeze rounds to cause the executioner in the first chapter to hit the gate quicker, to make the chapter go a bit quicker. But other from that, we just swap between the other 4 weapons. Primarily, the VZ is used for Jill, and I'm hoping that we will get to see that. It's a very interesting strat. I know a lot of people, when they play RE5 and you see them in casual playthroughs or first-time speedruns, Jill is a massive roadblock. And it's just very unfun. It's a lot of running about after. In the speedrun, we do it in about 7 seconds. It is always fun to watch. So here we see a very interesting strat from Pheno and Meteor, and this will be a treat if they get it. They're swapping their FPS down to 30, and this is because the Endesu fight on 30 frames per second can be done in one cycle. It has to be done flawlessly to pull it off, and it can only be done on 30 FPS, but we'll see if they get there. And by one cycle, it only means one massive tentacle spawn from the back and he will die. It's probably the second or hardest trick in the entire speedrun.
There's no getting past that truck unless you two do something about it. Nice.
And here we go, they're both lined up. There's no way they just pulled off a one cycle in a marathon style event. Oh no. That is insane. That trick is like the epitome of perfection. You both have to be perfectly locked on. One missed shot means you can't do it. That is insane to see them pulling that off. I think Markio and Yato said they were going to go for it as well. But it is such a hard strat to pull off, especially in a run like this. And here we see Pheno and Meteor going into 3-1. If you are ever going to do a co-op speedrun of this game, I dare say you'll find this chapter is the most fun. Because one of you gets to be in control of the boat, and there is nothing more fun than crashing for no reason. And it loves to happen on this game, there are a lot of invisible walls. But here we see Pheno, he definitely has a boating license. No crashes. And he gets to the first dock. And Yato and Markio just doing a 2-cycle on Gigante here. So now when he goes back for the second time, he'll have 4 parasites coming out of his arms. So it's a bit of a harder cycle to deal with, but I'm sure they'll get it down very quickly. This is where he likes to troll though. He will pick up the lamppost. He does. And unfortunately, we wouldn't normally dodge attacks in this fight unless he slams the ground. If he tries to punch you, we normally just take the hit because it's quicker. But when it comes to the lamppost, it actually has a funny property on the lower difficulties where it deals so much damage that it would basically kill them. So they're having to sit through the animations. It's very unfortunate. This boss is very RNG dependent. And here comes the parasite for them. And they move into chapter 3-1 as well. And we see Pheno and Meteor currently dealing with the crocodiles. Nobody wants to get crocked. I'm hoping to see at least one crocodile death during this run. They are always funny to see. A funny little tidbit, the hitboxes on the crocodile's mouths likes to extend more than it looks like. So you can see it very often in speedruns where we're just running past in a normal path and we'll just randomly get grabbed out of nowhere. And unfortunately it is an insta-kill. But Pheno doing absolutely great movement there to get past. And I believe it's Yato that's driving for these two. Yes, it's Yato that's driving. This is always great to see. And he's definitely been practicing. So Pheno and Meteor moving on to the third island for the third emblem. With a bit of a jump up, and then we'll see them heading into the village. I don't think... getting S rank in 3-3, I see. So they'll probably go for the S rank in 3-3, but it is quite a difficult S rank to get. Because the chapter has so many limited enemies, and the accuracy count has to be high, so they might switch weapons for when that chapter's coming up. Markio and Yato leaving Island 1 now. And Pheno and Meteor leaving Island 3. Oh, they're actually deciding to change their FPS values here. So that'd be changing them back from the Endesu fight. So they're taking turns driving. That's very interesting.
So, I just want to give out a quick information to everybody here watching. It turns out that the reason why the chefs are currently only sitting at 4 goals and the baguettes already have 11, and they don't seem to catch up. Apparently, there were technical difficulties in the back, and the board is set to lockout bingo despite being a blackout bingo run. So for everybody who doesn't know, lockout bingo means that once your team or your run does a goal, then the opposite team can no longer fulfill that goal. We're currently looking into ways of solving that because the runners have prepared for a blackout and not a lockout race. So we're looking into hopefully we can rectify the situation ASAP, but just wanted to let you know that the tension isn't out of this run just yet, just because it looks like it has already been fulfilled.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming blackout means that it's when each... Yeah, I know what blackout is.
Yeah, blackout
So
means you have to fill out
Yeah.
all of the board, and lockout means, well, you have to get as many goals and lock your opponent out of getting the goals.
Absolutely. So here we see Pheno and Meteor going into chapter 3-2 now. So, interesting little thing, again, if you ever decide to run this game. There is a crank section in 3-2 that an AI would normally do in solo. It is about 30 seconds. And if you are doing it on controller like I have to whenever I run this game, it is almost impossible to keep up that movement. It is the single worst thing I think I've ever had to do in speedrunning. But it'll be interesting to see if either of them swap to controller to do this. Because I know a lot of the PC runners like to use keyboard and mouse here because it is easier on the fingers. And I'm assuming Yato and Markio are just waiting for any of the issues to be resolved with the board, of course. And here we see Pheno and Meteor doing the... Oh, they're doing the no reset version. And he's doing it on controller.
All right, it looks like we are in the process of switching the board. So we might have a bit of a slowdown right in the pacing of the run here. And I would like to take this opportunity to say goodbye for today, because this is the end of my hosting shift. But please do not frown, because I will leave you in the very capable hands of Crumpet, who is already here with us. So remember, everybody, raise the money for Doctors Without Borders. We want to help them in their amazing cause. And remember that we have lots of awesome incentives and very awesome prizes that you can get eligible by donating. All right, with that, Crumpet, hope you have a good time and keep the people engaged.
Thank you very much, Seth. So I'm here, but we have our lovely commentator, so I'll take a bit more of a back seat, and I'll jump in when we when we have announcements and things like that.
Absolutely. And then, is there any follow-up on what's happening with the Blackout tier?
Absolutely. So we have the new board up and ready to go. We've informed the runners, and they're currently marking off their goals, which ones they've used or which ones they've completed, and then we'll switch it over on the stream shortly.
Okay, sounds great. So a brief intermission.
Nope, there shouldn't need to be. We'll keep it as it is, and Tech will just swap over the board once all the players are ready to resume.
Fair enough. Be interesting to see how many Yato and Markio pulled off. Of course, keeping count of everything. Pheno and Meteor starting in 3-2 again. And Yato and Markio just waiting for probably putting what they need to on the board.
All right, I
Fin-
believe the board is currently switched over on the stream, so we should be back.
There we go.
Yeah.
And again, we're seeing Pheno and Meteor doing the very fun raft, dodging crocodiles. That's a lot of what Chapter 3.1 and 3.2 is just dodging crocodiles and making sure you don't get eaten. And I believe here is where we'll also see they'll do another tactical reset with the checkpoints. So we should see Meteor run across the bridge. And then there's the reset to bring them both back together. It's a very little interesting techie option that we do during the runs, and it saves a lot of time throughout the whole run, but it can be a bit of a hindrance depending on connection and other things. And they are making their way into oil field now. And Yato and Maki are resetting and sorting out their inventory. So quite an interesting approach from Pheno here, using the snipers to take out all the crossbow guys, and we'll see an interesting trick where he'll run into the fire and won't get burned, and be able to move through all those enemies without taking a single hit. It looks very easy the way they do it, but it is a very tough strat to pull off because there's always inconsistencies. And then again, we'll see another reset here after they both go down to turn their cranks. They'll do another reset to bring each other towards the middle platform. And it seems like Markio and Yato have definitely started back out again, moving into the crocodile section. Will we see one of them get eaten? I doubt it. But it's always a hope in my mind. So we'll see Yato stand at the bottom here, and he'll just be shooting the crocodiles as they're coming towards him, and that's just to clear out the whole area. And I believe as Markio drops down, they'll go for a very interesting tech, which you can actually only tell if you're doing if you've both got streamer POVs, and it's called boosting. And the way it's done is essentially on one person's screen, they're in front, and on the other person's screen, the other person's in front. And it basically means that you're pushing into each other's hitboxes and you're moving at about 12% more movement speed. It is a very precise trick to pull off, but can be pulled off all over the run where you're both running. They did try to set it up, but they lost it there as well. Meteor doing a bit of a low percent strat here with just a knife at the window. And there we go. Yato and Markio on 7, Pheno and Meteor on 11. A lot closer now. Moving on to the second island. Third island, actually. Pardon me. And Pheno and Meteor are moving into the end of Chapter 2. This is the Josh auto-scroller section. I guess you could call it auto-scroller. There's a lot of waiting for Josh in this run, unfortunately. And Yato and Markio moving on to the last boating section. Going for grenade kills. There we go. So that's another one off for them. So we're getting closer together now. 8 and 11. It'll be interesting to see if either of them will get the S rank in Free Free, which is the next chapter coming up for Meteor and Pheno. It is again, very tough chapter to get an S rank in, due to the limitations of the amount of enemies. I'm not sure if it's only one of them needs to get the S rank, or if it's both of them. But again, very hard chapter to do, lots of enemies, and you need great accuracy for the S ranks in this game. Yato using grenades instead of a rocket launcher for this section. Again, very interesting to see how they're both tackling each of these sections, because again, NG+, we would normally have the infinite rocket launcher and we'd just rocket everything out the way. We may have to talk about making this an official category, because it looks very fun to run and route. Especially due to the ammo limitations as well. So Yato throwing that extra nade there, that's just to make sure that the sneaky shield guy, as he is aptly named, doesn't come up behind him and hit him while Markio is crossing the bridge. He managed to sneak up anyway. Here we go, turning the bridge again. Of course, if you take a hit while your co-op partner's running across the bridge, you will drop it, and they will die just like that. Oh no. That is very unfortunate. And here we see Pheno and Meteor moving into chapter 3 just after they get to the end of the docks. Again, they'll be going for an S rank this chapter, so I expect them to possibly change their inventory around. Maybe use a machine gun instead of a pistol, just for the extra accuracy. And Yato and Markio moving on to 3-2 as soon as this door opens up. Gotta love how it takes Chris 4 seconds and struggling to move a tiny piece of wood from the door. And boom, there you go, into 3-2. So they've actually opted to go with sniper rifles for this chapter. We might see them go for a BSA emblem here. If either of them still have to do the BSA emblems, they'll probably go for them here. And they might try and do some of the physical attacks here as well, because this chapter is very good for small amount of enemies, but in quick succession. So Yato and Markio moving into the main part of 3-2. They're going for the physical attack kills here. There's only about 11 enemies that spawn here, so that won't be all of them. They'll probably finish the rest off at the housing section of this chapter. And here we see Pheno and Meteoor moving into the second part of this chapter. So interestingly enough, there is a trick in 3-3 that we do see used a lot in the corp runs. It's called the Irvin cutscene kill. It will be very interesting to see if either of these guys go for it. It's where you shoot a rocket during the Irvin spawning cutscene, and it has about a 0.2 second delay of when you can fire it and hit him during the cutscene. So it's a very precise trick, but it's always great to see when it actually hits. So it's Yato turning the crank for Yato and Markio, also opting to do it on controller. Let's hope Markio doesn't get eaten. And there we see Pheno doing a very safe strat of taking out the chain gun users with a sniper rifle. Both running opposite paths. And they should be making it back to the boat ready for the boss of 3-3. So Pheno is host, so it's normally the host player that will go for the quick kill here. He doesn't have a rocket launcher in the inventory, so there might be a reset here for the rocket launcher. Oh no, they're opting to do it with the turrets.
They help fund the BSAA. What the hell are they doing here?
And I think they realised that they didn't have a rocket launcher in the inventory. Or they messed up the strat. They're doing a mixture of the new game strat and the new game plus strat. So using the turret here, hitting the top part 3 times, which will make him back off into the back of the water. And then they'll use a rocket launcher for the cutscene kill. Yato and Markio making their way through the oil fields. Yato opting to go for the longer path and not dealing with crossbow guy. Oh, there we go. Yes. Don't forget about him, Yato. He likes to shoot you a lot. And Pheno and Meteor going for the normal standard kill here on Irvin. This might hurt them in their chances for an S rank. Due to time being one of the factors for an S rank, it might be a B here, and if their accuracy is an A or lower, they won't get the S rank. Third cycle, and there we go. Irvin is down. And they both got the S rank. That is amazing. The only bad part for either of them was the enemies routed, which is fair enough because there is only a limited amount of enemies in that chapter. Yato opting to go for melee kills here. And Pheno and Meteor heading into 4-1. And we get to see our first instance of the spiders. If you are scared of spiders, look away now. You're about to see hundreds of them. And there we go, shooting a BSA emblem. I believe they're only missing one more for the shooting all the BSA emblems that they need. And Markio and Yato moving through the house section. Josh getting stuck there, that's going to cost them a bit of time. These enemies like to play in a very funny way where they just stand in the way of Josh so he can't make it to the door. Ah, there we go. He's there. So this is an interesting section for Pheno and Meteor. They're going to be using the strategy with the sniper rifle just to deal with all the enemies while their partner makes it all the way through. Open the sarcophagus. No treasure inside. Oh no! And they both land it perfectly. Opting to do the tactical reset here to despawn some enemies. And we're not seeing much inventory management between them. Opting to go with a nade throw there. Very interesting. We would, again, NG Plus would normally use a rocket launcher there. So it's always great to see how they're doing all these different strats. A lot of these would have never been practiced. And the funny ballroom, very bad RNG there. Meteor takes a hit. If you ever got to this section in the game and wondered what the patterns are like, there are 4 different patterns there. They unfortunately got the very bad one. And here we see Markio and Yato about to move into 3-3. They will be going for the S rank as well. It'll be interesting to see if they go the same route with snipers or if they keep with the machine guns and pistols. So the score after 3-2, 10-15. Yato and Markio are definitely catching up now. If they get this S rank, they'll be in a really good position to possibly overtake them if they can do it quickly. If they decide to go for the rocket strat, they might honestly catch up in chapters as well.
Well, we do have a bit of downtime. I'd just like to jump in quickly. Just to kind of anybody that might be new in chat, or just to kind of remind people what exactly we're doing over here at Bingothon Summer 2024. So we're currently raising money for Doctors Without Borders, and we've had quite a few of our hosts, translate that into different languages. So we've had a large, varied, take on that so far. But if you haven't heard what Doctors Without Borders is, it's an organization that offers medical humanitarian assistance to people based solely on need, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. Their frontline workers include doctors, nurses, and logisticians, and they're often among the first on the scene when people's lives are upended by conflict, disease outbreak, and other disasters. So they're a wonderful organization, and every dollar raised through our !donate link does go to them. And your money's not only just going to a very good cause, but if you donate certain amounts, you'll be entered into certain draws, such as if you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered into our Bingothon mug draws. $5 will get you entered into our Bingothon stickers, and then of course our the big main draw that we have is the new 3DS XL Pikachu edition with the capture card modded into it. Provided to us by Delfino Customs, and if you donate $100 or more, of course, you'll be entered into that. And it's a very, very nice prize. It's a unique one that we haven't really had before, and I'm sure a lot of people in chat would love to get their hands on one, as I know there's a shortage of capture card services there for a few years. It's picking back up again, thankfully. But thank you very, very much to Delfino Customs for providing that, and they also provide custom controllers, modded 3DS systems, and more. So please do go check them out at delfinocustoms.com. And there is a few more bits that that your money can go towards. When you do donate, you can choose to have it go towards a upcoming goal or bid war. For example, we have the bid war for whoever donates the most towards it, which it's currently standing at $20. The donator can choose the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer file name up to a max of 8 characters, and then of course we also have the Stardew Valley bid wars, where if you donate more than $10, you can choose whether Stardew Valley will have a cat or a dog. The runner will choose the cat or the dog, whichever has the higher, and we currently have nothing towards the choosing which starter farm to use. So if you donate as little as $1, you can choose which farm the runner will start on, which will completely change the course of the run. So quite exciting. And of course we're in our Resident Evil 5 Blackout now, which is very, very thrilling to see. I haven't played it personally myself, but after watching the runners here, I'm definitely thinking about picking it up. So very, very thankful to the runners for showing that off. So I'll let Regear get back to the commentating. Sorry for you having to listen to me go about my...
It's absolutely fine. It's very interesting to hear that you guys are doing a Stardew event as well. As a very avid Stardew player, I would love to see them start on Wastelands, because my first ever farm was the Wasteland variant with the massive pool in the middle, and I didn't know until later in the game that it made monsters spawn, which caused a unfortunate few bad events. But no, so if anybody's going to donate, please Wasteland or Four Corners.
Yes, of course, if you do want to donate, it's all through our !donate command, which I'll just put in the chat now. And if you do have anything to spare that you'd be willing to give to a good cause, then I don't think there's any better cause. They do truly sterling work there over at Doctors Without Borders. So yeah, very, very happy to be able to support them in any way we can.
So here we see Pheno and Meteor doing the resuscitate partner 10 times, blowing each other up with mines of all things. Oh no, they're actually getting very low on the dying state. They might accidentally kill each other here. So of course, anyone that hasn't played RE5, there's the dying bar, which you can currently see, and that will slowly tick down. Depending on which difficulty you're on, it ticks at a quicker speed. And of course on amateur it'll tick very slowly, so they just have to be careful that they don't accidentally put each other into the dying state and not have enough time to resuscitate their partner. Because of course if that bar fully fills, they just die and it's a game over. On professional, however, which is a very fun difficulty for this game if anybody has or wants to try it, and the resuscitation bar only lasts for 2.5 seconds. So by the time that you stand up after being knocked over by an explosive, you are normally already dead. So if you ever want to try this game and make it a bit more difficult on yourself, try professional. It's very, very difficult, and it causes for a lot of funny moments, especially in the co-op speedrun. And here we see Yato and Markio moving into the last part of the Irving boss fight. Not going for the rocket, they are going to do the Gatling gun strats. And unfortunately taking some damage there. And there we saw Meteor and Pheno picking out the laser guys for that to be knocked out. That'll put them up to 17. And I believe this S rank put Yato and Markio up to 11. I don't think they're missing too many. They've done the BSAA, so they'll probably go for the fully upgraded weapon next if they can. I don't know which weapon they'll go for. Hopefully they choose something funny. And here we see Pheno and Meteor moving into the very, very trolly section of 4-2. If you ever play this with somebody, just know these lasers kill instantly, and you can turn them onto your co-op partner. Don't try this at home. But yes, very fun section. It's a bit trolly. There's a lot of strats that we can do here, like using nitro rounds to allow the lasers to pass through us without taking damage. They'll probably go for the normal strat here, where Meteor will turn the mirror off, so that Pheno can make his way through. And then Pheno will turn it to the elevator whilst he holds the mirror off. There we go. And then reconnect it there. And then for the second floor, we'll see them do a bit of a split strat, where one of them runs off to the one corner while the other one kicks the pillars down. So Chris will be the one kicking the pillars down, and Sheva will turn the corner mirror. And there we go, just like that. I'm sure if anybody's ever played this game, they'll understand that doing this section this quickly is such a relief.
That name Irving said, Excella.
And then in this section, they'll both choose 2 mirrors. So Chris is going for the inner 2, Sheva will do the outer 2. And Sheva will hold the second mirror just so she doesn't get hit by a laser. And there we go. And then they'll run off in opposite directions and meet in the middle. Yato and Markio making their way through 4-1. Again, if you're scared of spiders, look away now. They'll use a flash nade at this next part just to clear them all out. And Pheno and Meteor move into 5-1. Where we actually have a very interesting square on the bingo chart. Make the crab eat 3 nades. So to anyone that has played this game before, you'll know there's a boss at the end of this chapter. There's a giant crab. And most people would just shoot it in the mouth with a rocket launcher and make it disappear. There is an interesting cutscene you can cause happen, which is every time you down him, you can make him eat a nade, and it will cause more of his head to be exposed, a bit gruesome, I know. So what they'll do is they'll have 3 nades, and every time they knock him down, they'll give him a nade, and the third one will do enough to actually kill him on amateur. On other difficulties, you'll have to continue fighting him after that. But we'll see that strat here. I'm not sure if there's any other cards they'll go for in this chapter. Maybe... no, they have to do the crane guy. So yeah, it'll just be that one, whereas Yato and Markio will probably try and knock off a few of the ones they have done in the upcoming chapters. Defeat 3 Magini with a nade is still up there, fully upgraded weapon is still up there. And of course they'll have to do the 4-2 laser guys as well. But they are still very much in this race. They are very close together. And there's a couple of hard ones still coming up, so again, kill the crane guy without RPG or hang, like, anything like that. That is very difficult because you have to use a sniper. Obtain the Heart of Africa, which means they'll have to do a different Jill strat. And defeat you two without insta-kills. That is a very long fight without the insta-kills. And here we see Yato and Maki are going into the ballroom. Let's see what RNG gives them. Well, apparently a spear and a crossbow bolt. And Markio takes a health ball. Will he make it to the door? He's gonna have to jump under it. And there we go. They make it through. Pheno and Meteor moving up to the boss, where we'll see the 3 nades. They will have to try and not use a magnum. I believe they might use a grenade launcher, because if you use a magnum on the legs, it can actually kill him too quickly. And Markio and Yato failing the QTE section, unfortunately. So let's see what Pheno and Meteor do for this boss. Choosing to pick up the ammo. So here's another section with a nice QTE. Both getting it there. So opting to go with pistols. And here we see the first nade. Oh. So it's the Sheva that has the nades for it, I see. And as you can see, each nade that goes in exposes a bit more of the head. There's the second one.
Come on.
One more and they will be at 18. This cutscene here, where he has now got an insta-kill attack, which he pulled off. Oh no! I don't think they were ready for the insta-kill attack. So whenever you decide to do the grenade strat, he will actually have an insta-kill attack with his bottom pincers if you don't ever use a grenade on him. Surprisingly enough, that never happens. So it's only when you do the fight with grenades. And here we see Markio and Yato coming up to the end of the bell section. They might decide to kill the boss in this chapter with a rocket launcher if they're trying to be quick. Pheno and Meteor getting rocked about a bit there. And there he goes down for the third time. And that's another square ticked off for Pheno and Markio. Meteor. So they're moving into 5-2, and this is unfortunately where the game gets a little bit harder. The enemies stop using knives and swords and start using AK-47s and grenade launchers. So we might see some interesting little tricks here. Markio and Yato deciding to run away from the bat. Very interesting little cutscene will happen here where they have to run away from him. Which they managed to pull off. Oh no, they don't! They died! It's very unfortunate. So they'll have to do that run section again. Opting to run past him again and do the run section again. And Pheno and Meteor deciding to go for, I believe, what's left of defeating enemies with melee?
Come on! Okay.
But getting through the section very smoothly. And Yato and Maki are going into 4-2, the laser room. Unfortunately for Pheno and Meteor, they seem to be taking quite a lot of damage here, opting to pull out a grenade launcher. There could be a death here. Nah, very well handled by the both of them. Again, you'll see it a lot where they're in a chance of dying or they're in a state where they're just completely all over the shop. And again, this is all because the run isn't with infinite ammo. And it's forcing them into so many situations where they just have to adapt on the fly. We'll see it in this chapter and in the next chapter. A new enemy approaches, and they'll have to find a very interesting way of dealing with them. And here we see Yato trying to snipe the laser guy. In a bit of an off position for it. There we go. Or should I say, not snipe, rocket the laser guy. Opting to use a rocket launcher. Pheno and Meteor are about to meet some new enemies. These are the Lickers. Very common in Resident Evil games, very hard to kill. There isn't a Blackout square for getting a Lion's Heart, but we might see them have to deal with the Lickers eventually. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to deal with them, because again, in NG+, we would just use a rocket launcher on these enemies. And Yato and Maki are coming up to the end of the 4-2 laser section. Deciding to take a very interesting route as well. So this is where Yato will take out the second laser guy, using a rocket launcher once again. And that's a square knocked off for them as well, so that'll put them up to 13. And Pheno and Meteor running through 5-2, coming up to a very interesting enemy that will start spawning. To any of you that have played RE5, you will remember these enemies very well. They are almost unkillable, and they like to kill you very fast. If you're scared of bugs, look away. And here we see Yato and Markio moving into the laser section. I have a feeling Yato is going to be a troll and decide to kill Markio with one of the lasers. We will see. So Yato opting to be the second one to turn the laser. Oh, no, they've decided to just fully run around. Fair enough. Not risking it. And here we see Pheno and Meteor about to meet our new lovely enemy. Luckily, this one is a bit easier to deal with as you can run past it, but let's see how they deal with it. Commonly known as the Reaper, they are a insta-kill enemy that likes to grab you, and they only have a small weak spot that opens very rarely. But here they are starting the conveyor. They will probably choose to do the quick strat, which is where you wait for this box to go past and then run up the first lane. And they will have just enough time to squeeze past this second box that will come down the path. And straight on into the boss of 5-2. So of course, one of the panels here is defeat U2 without insta-kills, and the boss they're coming up to now is U2, so we should see use of the flamethrower, depending on how they want to go about this. So they're actually going to do a reset here and sort out their inventories. Opting to go with hand grenades. And here we see Yato and Markio making their way out of 4-2 into 5-1. Very close yet again, 13-19. Just waiting to see which chapter they'll decide to fully upgrade a weapon in.
I wonder if this is what Irving meant by answers.
Not sure, but obviously there's a connection here with Umbrella.
And Pheno and Meteor opting to go with Incin rounds and a sniper. That is a very interesting strategy.
You're right. Let's see what we can dig up.
Unfortunately, unlike when you use the flamethrower, if you use Incin rounds or Incin nades, he only spawns his hittable points for about a second instead of for 10 or 20. So unfortunately they're having to pick up a flamethrower now. And here we go, Pheno picking up the flamethrower. opting to use a Magnum for all the weak points as well, and then Markio and Yato moving up to U8, where they will go for their free grenades.
Thank God there weren't more of them.
Yeah, we wouldn't last in a fight with a whole horde. I don't think they'll notice us.
So we do have a bit of downtime here. Again, if there's any questions the host wants to ask about this run, feel free.
Absolutely. Is this a typical bingo board or typical length of a Resident Evil 5 board, or is it harder or easier than normal, would you say?
So this would be a lot more difficult to what they would have been expecting. Again, we would normally use infinite ammo. There would be a lot of rocket launchers, a lot of use of the best pistol in the game, but they're having to completely adapt and change strategies because you see a lot of them using sniper rifles and having to use ammo. There is a fun little tidbit in this game that they've had to use. I made sure to tell them all at the beginning of the run. You can buy weapons and sell them, and it'll give you ammo for that specific weapon, depending on how much was in there. So they've had to use that at the start just to even have ammo for the run. So, of course, it'll take them a lot longer than it normally would. A normal run of this game, RTA-wise, would be probably finishing in about 2 minutes.
Wow.
So, yeah, speed-wise, we're quite fast. On average, looking at the LRT time, you're looking at about a 109 or a 110. And then IGT-wise, you'd be looking at a 110, 111. So it's a very quick run co-op, and then solo, IGT-wise, you're looking at about a 120, 121 is roughly where the world record sits at the moment. And all of these guys are world record contenders.
Well, we've certainly got the
Timeless.
best people on display then.
Absolutely. Pheno especially and Meteor, they are constantly going for new game world records as well. They constantly pushing the boundaries to what we normally do for the strats of that category. I myself push mostly New Game Plus, so this is more the type of run I would do myself. Unfortunately, I'm on a console, so I'm very limited to who I can play with. But absolutely great guys, especially Pheno as well. Recently, I believe he took the New Game normal world record down by about a minute or two, so he's just absolutely amazing at this game. Yato as well, very good with co-op. So it's nice to see like how they're constantly adapting their own strategies and adding new strategies in, because of course top level players, they know what they're doing, but then they're thrust into a situation they don't have a solution for. We'll see it now in 5. We'll see it now in 5.3. There's a section coming up at the very start here with Pheno and Meteor where they'll have to deal with Reapers. Now, we would normally rocket them because we would only allow 2 to spawn, but they're going to have to do possibly a completely different strategy. Luckily, there is a new game strategy for this where you can use a flash launcher as well, which will make them more vulnerable, but we could see a few deaths.
But just on what you said about, them being thrust into new situations, even though they are top players, I feel like that is very much within the spirit of bingo to, it really helps you advance as a player because, it's more about general game knowledge and skills rather than just muscle memory and, regurgitating.
Absolutely. And I've already said, after seeing this bingo board, I personally 100% want to run this with Yato. Yato is my predominant co-op partner, as he has a PS5 as well. So it'd be great to try something like this, a little race with him. I love this aspect of all being thrust into different situations. We see it now with Pheno pulling this lever here. He has the late Reaper spawn, so he'll have to do something different. Tries running around the outside, just about skims past it, but again, those Reapers have a very long animation where they grab you and insta-kill you. The reach of that is about 5 times bigger than their actual hitbox. So it's very risky, a lot of new things to try, so it's very fun to see. And here we see Yato and Markio moving into 5-2 as well. Again, they'll have to deal with the boss differently. It's so nice to see them just not like putting 5 mines down and shooting it or rocketing it. The one I'm most interested to see is how they're all going to tackle Wesker. Very commonly, everybody that's ever played RE5 would know Wesker. It's the whole reason why he's so popular, especially in like DBD and other games where he's an appearance. It's because of Resident Evil 5. It's what like made him the meme. And everybody knows there's a famous line that he says at the start of the fight: 7 minutes is all I have to play with you. In the speedrun setting that we normally do, the fight takes 10 seconds. But without rocket launchers, it can take 7 minutes. It can definitely take 7 minutes.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see how like Pheno and Meteor do it. I know there's a lot of strats you can do. I personally did a very funny thing with the bolt action sniper rifle. And beating him with just that, there's a lot of funny ways you can beat him. You can beat him with just a knife, you can beat him with just grenades, but the only way you can actually hit him is during the animations of his attacks, and the window is well under a second. So it definitely pushes you to your limits to be very accurate very quickly. You'll probably see them taking a lot of hits as well, because he likes to do a 180 jump kick, which is the best animation to shoot him during, but you have to be very close to him. So if you miss, he just kicks you into a wall.
Right. And as for, would bingo be a large thing in the RE5 community, or would it be kind of just coming into its own now, or would it be a new thing?
It'd definitely be coming into its own now. So we do have a generalized speedrun hub. Used to RE5 speedruns, which was where we would do mostly races. The predominant thing we used to do as a community was just host races of categories, and that's about it. But seeing the aptitude for bingo, I think it'd be an absolutely great thing to put on display. And especially in like this setting, it's just absolutely amazing to see. I could see maybe the current world record holder for NG Plus, Asta, doing this. He is very much a meticulous person when it comes to running this game. Like, he's very reset heavy, so it'd be great to see him thrust into all these situations against these runners. I think there could be like a massive overhaul to how we play the game because of this. At the end of the day, it's always nice to try something new.
Absolutely. And, we'd love to have you back again in the winter to, demonstrate how the bingo community has developed.
Absolutely.
Even here on Bingothon, we watch a lot of bingo communities, start and then blossom and then develop further, it is lovely to see.
Hopefully, personally, I will be getting a better hardware upgrade. I will be moving up to a PC. I personally will definitely love trying this very commonly. This is the type of thing that I would find a bit more fun, because a lot of what a speedrun is just playing the game over and over and over again. And I know a lot of people watch speedrun YouTubers, and especially like Small Ant, who is very big on his bingo. I know that. And you'll see them do these because it's a great way to stop yourself from burning out of the game. Because there is nothing that will want you to stop playing a game more than playing it for 12 hours a day doing the same old thing. So it's nice to have that little refresher. I'm sure a lot of people will take this on board. And it'll be great to come back in the winter, hopefully, as a runner myself. Because I always love doing things like this. And it's always great to see, especially when it's a charity organisation and raising for such a great cause. It's always nice to see.
Absolutely. And on that note, just to, if anybody's new into chat or isn't entirely sure what we're what we're all about here over at Bingothon. During Bingothon Summer 2024, we're raising money for the very lovely people over at Doctors Without Borders. They're a medical humanitarian organization. You know, they offer medical assistance in the form of doctors, nurses, and logisticians. You know, and they're always making sure that they give out their assistance irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. You know, they're very they'll give it to anybody in need. They won't, you know, they won't make sure you meet like certain criteria first. Like they always make sure that people who need their assistance get it. You know, so it's a very pardon me, it's a very, very good cause. And they're often the first people on the scene when people's lives are upended by conflict, disease outbreak, and other natural disasters. And you know, human-made disasters. They're always very good at, you know, being on the scene in, you know, ground zero, as it were, and making sure that, you know, people are safe. So they're an absolutely wonderful organization, and we're thrilled to be raising money for them. So if you do want to donate to them, please do so through our !donate link, which I'll put into the Twitch chat. And of course, your money isn't just going to a wonderful cause, but depending on the amount you donate, it can also get you entered into several prize draws, such as for our Bingothon mugs, or if you donate $100 or more, you're entered into our giveaway for a Delfino Customs new 3DS XL modded with a capture card, which is an absolutely amazing prize. So big thank you to Delfino Customs for providing us with that, and they also provide custom controllers, modded 3DS systems, and more. So please do go check them out at delfinocustoms.com. And of course, we also have our goals and our bid goals and bid wars. So we have we get another $30 towards Amnesia the Bunker, the runner will put on low resource settings, which will make the run a lot more challenging, and I think a lot more fun to watch. It'll definitely make it more chaotic, which I'm sure a lot of people over here at Bingothon will be absolutely delighted to see, and indeed it'll give us all a laugh. It's always very entertaining when the runners are really challenging themselves on their game knowledge and skill, such as our current Resident Evil 5 runners are, by having infinite ammo turned off. And I know myself, I've been thoroughly enjoying this run so far, and it's not over yet, so we still have a lot more to go, and can't wait to see how this match turns out. And after this run, we have the Amnesia the Bunker run coming up, run by our very own Pikastroph, which will be absolutely, it'll be a really, really good one. So do stay tuned for that. But back to the Resident Evil 5 run, and we can see that the Baguettes are currently at 21 goals, but the chefs aren't out of it yet. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. So with this run, especially, there's a lot of instances that can go wrong. Again, they're frustrating situations they can't deal with. But just funnily enough, we just saw there what Pheno and Meteoor did to the Jill fight. And again, I will reiterate, that fight casually takes anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. They did it in 10 seconds. It is always great to see in a speedrun setting. The amount of theorizing and routing that we do for these runs is the same as any other. It's always great to see all the cool tricks, and I think it's one of the things that, especially in Bingo, being able to showcase it. So if anybody's ever interested in running this game, please do. We're always happy to see new members in the community. It's always great to see. And there are a lot of helpful videos out there. A lot of people in the community are always very helpful. Yato especially. I guess I'll say his 10 seconds apiece. He is very much a very helpful guy. When I first started running, him and Asta were the people that I originally went to, and they taught me this game from the ground up. So the community is absolutely amazing. We're not scared to teach people. We're always happy to help, and it's always nice seeing new runners. And again, maybe with the bingo aspect, more people would like to try running. Of course, we're always happy to help people set this up or anything like that. I know Yato's very skilled with all the PC stuff, setting up the boards and stuff, so if people are interested in trying this race out for themselves, please feel free to message us in the Discord and we'll see what we can do to help you out and sort it out. Because I think it'd be a great thing to see, especially with newer people as well. And here we see Pheno and Meteoor doing the don't kill the crane guy. I'm not sure which oh, are they going back to do the sniper shot? I see. So I believe here Pheno has just realised he hasn't killed the crane guy without grenades or a rocket launcher. They're not allowed to use them, so he's going to have to use the sniper here. Which means a very long run back all the way up to the top of the tower. Again, so another little interesting thing about this game. We do have subcategories, of course, as every game does. You'll see like meme speedruns and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, very commonly in the Resident Evil community, at least, there's dog percent in RE4, which is a whole speedrun of just saving the dog. But one of the memes, I guess you could say, we like to do is we have our only one weapon runs, where you do the game with just one weapon from each subclass, so one shotgun or one type of rifle, etc. And it's very funny because the crane guy can technically be killed with every weapon on the game. But if you try it with a shotgun, you have to sit there for 4 minutes just hoping and praying that one of the spray shots hits him. So it's a very, very fun little thing to do. And here we see they're doing the elevator section. Funny little tidbit, I guess. On console, you can actually knife the buttons on those elevators. So, like, when I do speedruns on console, I don't even have to shoot them. And here we see Yato and Markio just about to finish this boss, I believe. Waiting for the flamethrower. Again, this is like another situation they've kind of been thrust into. This boss, even on New Game, we kill in probably about 5 seconds, maybe 6. Whereas with the flamethrower and everything else, it takes minutes. There are better ways to do it, of course, but again, thrust into situations, so this is very unusual for them. They're not used to doing it. It's very tough to do. Trying to use Incin rounds here just to get the weak points to show whilst using the flamethrower. It's a very good strat, and there we go, just about finishing it off. And here we see Meteoor and Pheno moving into 6-1. So there is a little bit of a mini boss in this section. The JJ's commonly from RE4. There are a couple of ways of killing him here. They might opt for a rocket launcher, depending. But there's also a very good grenade launcher strat they can use here. But they are at 23. They're only missing 2. And unfortunately, one of them they can't complete. So if they can't do the defeat Endesu without shooting the barrels, because they actually shot the barrels to get the 1 cycle.
Ah, so will they have to reset the game to go back and do it? Is it or?
Yes.
Oh dear, and
so technically Yato and Markio can just run through the rest of the game and get all the parts they need.
right.
But it was nice to see what Pheno and Meteor did for that fight. They did probably the hardest strat in the speedrun, which is called the 1 cycle. And it involves shooting the barrels in a way that lines you up perfectly and changing your FPS values to accommodate. And essentially, instead of the fight taking its normal 3 cycles, or the 2 cycles that we normally do in a speedrun, they do it in 1. And it is insanely quick, and it is frames off perfection. So, like, 1 missed shot and it just doesn't work, and they managed to pull it off in the setting. So it's great to see. but it has cost them because they will have to go back and do it.
Okay, and there's no way in this game to re-challenge bosses or things like that.
Nope, they will have to start from the beginning of 2-3, which is a 6-minute auto-scroller, which gives
Wow.
Yato and Markio plenty of time to finish any of the endgame objectives that they have. And here we see
Right.
Pheno and Meteor going into 6-2 boss, Excella. I know there's not a screen for it, but this fight's normally done with the laser. But there's, again, multiple strategies to how we defeat this in different categories. Again, it's just it's a very varied speedrun compared to other Resident Evils because of the amount of strats we have for different bosses. I know in a lot of games you'll see, especially in other Resident Evil games, the new game strategy and the NG Plus strategy are just so different in variety. Whereas in this game, they're very similar. So even in runs, like if you're learning NG Plus after doing new game, you'll find you can use a lot of the new game strats in New Game Plus. And vice versa. So it's nice to see because it means they have a lot of strategies in this boss fight they can do without the infinite rocket.
Right. So what would the Baguettes be working on now? Have they haven't reset the game yet, have they? So are they trying to defeat the Magini with the rotten egg?
Possibly. I'm not sure if either of them have a rotten egg in their inventory. If they don't, they will have to go back and do that one as well. And the only way to defeat a Magini with a rotten egg is, well, the only way to get a rotten egg is on specific chapters where they drop, and they mostly drop from Magini that you kill. The biggest point for it would be 5-3 at the end of the elevator. There is a possibility of 2 dropping there, so they might have to go back and play the entirety of 5-3 again just to get the rotten egg, and then they'd have to finish that entire chapter because there's not a single enemy after that that you can kill with a rotten egg, being that it's Lickers that don't die to it, and then there's Wesker and Jill, so to have to redo Wesker and Jill, and then kill an enemy at 6-1. So they're, honestly, Yato and Markio are probably in the better situation, even though they're so far behind on score. They're in the better situation to actually finish the whole board quicker. Because Pheno and Meteor are just going to have to go back and redo chapters.
Do you think that Yato and Markio do they have enough time to run away with the game, or what do you think? Will it be close?
I'd say they have enough time, 100%. Simply because they, again, Pheno, Meteor, they're going to have to get a rotten egg somehow. Which they don't have. They're going to have to find one, they're going to have to farm for one, and get a kill that way, and then they have to go redo 2-3. Those 2 chapters where they're going to be farming alone is a lot. And unfortunately for them, they're both not predominantly NG plus runners. So I know for a fact they probably don't even know where rotten eggs spawn, so that one is going to stump them. So I think, honestly, Yato and Markio here probably have more than enough time to win it here. But again, some of these challenges, unless you're like a very veteran NG Plus runner, you really wouldn't know what to do. Again, there's like, I guess it comes down to the whole speedrun mentality of knowing where everything is. So again, because they're most predominantly new game runners, and I know Yato's been running a lot of No Merchant, there's a lot of things they might not remember or know about, so it will be interesting to see how they tackle those problems. Again, best scenario is they figure out there's a rotten egg spawn in 5-3. I'm hoping they remember that, because otherwise I really don't know what else they could do for it. It's bad though, because on a personal level, I've run this game for near 5,000 hours, and it always makes me laugh that I remember where rotten eggs spawn.
Absolutely, that the niche game knowledge really comes through when it really shows that you have the time spent in a game when you can, offhand think and know where little bits are.
So speaking of that rotten egg, where Yato and Markio are now, this is where that rotten egg will spawn. These enemies here have it's about a 50% chance that they'll drop one. So that is where Pheno and Meteor will have to go back to farm the rotten egg. And as you can see, it's very far into 5-3. They're basically at the end of the chapter. So it's just a lot of running through, and here you see they're fighting the Reapers in 6-3. It'll be interesting to see what they do for 6-3. If they were to catch up now and get those last two knocked off, they will have to do the quick kill on airfield. So they'll need to expend another rocket launcher there and get the one-shot cycle. And they'll also have to do the volcano rocket. It ends both fights in about 10 seconds each, but they are both very hard to pull off, especially if you don't have an infinite launcher to do a backup shot. Whereas Yato and Markio, they can make mistakes now because they've only got a few things left to check off. I don't think they have any specific ones they need to do that are previous chapters. But again, defeat Frimagini with a nade and stuff like that, that's very easy to do. Oh, they do actually have the 2-2-1. Defeat the Bat. So they may have to go back and do a couple of chapters. This might go over estimate. I do apologise to the organisers. But if they need any coaching, I'm always happy to jump in.
I'll have a quick ask around, see if where we are in the schedule. We will have to cut it off at the 2-hour mark. If so, we'll just probably give the win to whoever has the more goals at the time.
Yep.
But we'll see where we are on the schedule anyway.
So here we see they are trying to go for the very funny one rocket airfield Wesker. They managed to put it off here. They do a different strat there to what other players do. Everybody has their own way of doing it. You just have to shoot the rocket launcher in a specific of multiple locations. There are multiple areas you can shoot it at, and it will cause enough damage to cause that to be a one cycle. And then for the greatest cutscene in video gaming history, in my opinion, which gets mostly skipped through, which is Wesker fighting them both on the plane. He does like a lot of monologuing. If it's ever your first time playing through this game, listen to it all because it is great voice acting. And then we have another Wesker fight coming up for Yato and Markio as well.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you.
Opting to do it without rocket launchers, but waiting for the reset. So they're probably going to switch to Magnums here. There is a co-op strat that you can do with Magnums where you shoot him twice, which will cause him to, or you shoot him once, he'll run over to you. You shoot him again during the animation where he goes to kick you, and your co-op partner shoots him twice in the back as he's doing that. He'll then instantly turn around at Mach 20. You won't even see it happen, and then he'll go to kick the other person. And it's basically just a case of repeating the cycle. It's a very hard trick to pull off. They seem to have opted to go for the more melee strat, which is more NG dependent. But again, there's so many ways you can deal with Wesker. I know a lot of people that casually play the game, you probably think you have to do the whole shoot a rocket launcher or wait until you're out of sight. Whenever he's doing an animation like that, you can shoot him, it's just very tight. And then we see Meteor and Pheno just finished the game. I don't think they know they have 2 more objectives to do. But I'm assuming they're just waiting for a timeout there, depending on what's happening.
And we've just had word back. We will be cutting it off, unfortunately, at the 2-hour mark. And We might have time for a small interview, but only a small one, unfortunately. As I know, interviews with
Absolutely great,
multiple people can they can get a bit hectic, but we can have a quick word with the
Absolutely.
runners, see what their thoughts were on the board, and while we may not
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, carry on. Carry on.
while we may not see a full blackout from either team, we are lucky enough to have seen every single goal on the board demonstrated at least once by, both the teams. So it's a very nice thing
Oh,
to see.
absolutely. Personally, I know I said it jokingly. I kind of wish I did turn on my console for this run while commentating. I would have absolutely loved to have done this board. There are so many like interesting little things I could have done, and it's great. I know it's probably sounds a bit stupid, but I love doing very niche challenges, especially when it comes to this game. There's a lot of like niche little things we do when we do our individual chapter speedruns. You'll see a lot of different strats as well, and they're always so fun to do and so fun to tech. Very difficult, especially we have a very famous grenade throw in 2-1 where we destroy the mines at the very start of the chapter with a grenade, and it's I believe like almost like a pixel perfect trick with the grenade throw. But there's so many fun little niches that we have in the run, and I believe they're thinking about starting up a 2-3 here, just to try and get 24. Yes, they are. They are going to do a 2-3 really quickly without the barrels. So Pheno and Meteor will try and get to 24, and I believe Markio and Yato will cap out at 20 if they do this chapter really, really well. But unfortunately, I believe Pheno and Meteor will be the winners now. But again, as you said, it's very nice to see that they've done every objective, especially kill a Magini with a rotten egg. Of all of them, I thought that would be the one that would stump them all, because it's very rare that people have rotten eggs in their inventory.
Absolutely,
Again,
and it's been a pleasure to watch the best of the best, really, or some of the best anyway. Demonstrate their game, which is lovely to see.
Absolutely, and again, if this piques anyone's interest in deciding to run this game again, feel free to talk to any of the runners or anything like that in their individual chats or in the Bingothon chat after you're done. I'm sure everybody will be chilling out and watching games as they go by. I'm very interested to see the Stardew run now. And yeah, everybody's always happy to help. As always, when it comes to speedruns and when it comes to bingo like this, you'll never find a better community than the speedrun community, because we're always trying to be so helpful and so inclusive and making sure that everybody's got a fair, standardized playing field and everybody can just have fun with a game they enjoy. And oh wow.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, over here at Bingothon, fun is the main aim always, and we will always have fun in one way or another. Even if runs don't go the way we plan, we'll always find something to have a bit of a laugh about at the end of it, which is it's a lovely thing.
I think the thing I'll laugh at the most is if one of the grids for your Stardew run is get a prismatic shard. Because if it's get a prismatic shard, I already know exactly what's going to happen. Stardew's very much one of those games I picked up recently, and it's so fun.
Absolutely.
It's nice to see what other communities have done to games, especially if you like Resident Evil. It's always the same. We're very tight knit with all the other communities, but I like branching out, especially with like Stardew, Legend of Zelda. There's so many like interesting and unique runs, and I don't even know enough about Ocarina of Time to really know what a bingo sheet for that would be like, but I can imagine it'd get very crazy.
Absolutely, and even Breath of the Wild, where we had a few tournaments for that recently, and we've recently created the Tears of the Kingdom bingo over here at Bingothon, and we've showcased that last summer, I believe it was. So still fairly new in the grand scheme of things. They're all very, very diverse, and I'll always say that there's a bingo game for everybody, because every game is the way they structure their bingo can be very different to a lot of different games, so there's always something to suit everybody's tastes. And of course, we have a few classics coming up. Not necessarily today, but over the course of the weekend, we have the Pokemon Red. I believe it's a randomizer. Yeah, Pokemon Red randomizer run by the DM Panda. That'll be just as much fun as his Pokemon Emerald run was last night. And then, of course, we have the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer by CJS, which will be lovely to see. And then a new one to me is Lethal Company by our very own Rob the Gamer. And that'll be most goals in 1.5 hours, which will be really exciting to see. I'm very excited for that one. And of course, we have our classic Genshin Impact run with a Blackout bingo and lots of other fun ones like our Stardew Valley one. So it'll
That'd be
be
great to see.
absolutely. And the Stardew Valley is a triple bingo, so 3 lines to win, which will be
wow.
very, very nice.
I will say just quickly, both teams here will be finishing these 2 chapters roughly at the same time. So if you guys were looking for a point to cut them off there, that'd probably be a good point at the end of 6-1 and 2-3.
Absolutely. So if yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. I couldn't ask for better.
I think Pheno and Meteor might finish first, depending on how quickly they get Stigante down. And Desu is a troll. I will say this again. I know I said it earlier, he's an absolute RNG menace. In runs especially, like, he is one of the biggest walls that we find as runners. Because depending on what he decides to do, we just lose time. And I know a lot of speedruns have a lot of RNG. He is just the RNG wall for this game. You could lose 10 seconds, 20, 30. He just likes to troll. And here we go with Yato and Markio finishing up 6-1. And Pheno and Meteor should be finishing 6-2 here as well. Yep, there's 6-2 done, there's 2-3 done, and there's 6-1 done. Roughly at the same time.
And yeah, Tech will stop the timer in just a moment and let the runners know that the run is over. And then we will bring them back into the live channel just for not so much an interview, but just really thoughts and feelings after the run. And then, we'll let them plug something, and then, where they can find more of this kind of Resident Evil, where they can find the runners, or where viewers can find the runners rather. And then we'll go into a quick intermission, followed by our very lovely Pikastrophes run. So that'll be very, very exciting to see.
And again, thank you for letting me commentate as well. It's been a great experience. Sorry if I sounded a tiny bit tired. This was very last minute. I got told last night and it was like, oh. But no, it's been absolutely great to be here, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on, because you've been very, very informative and helpful and very, very kind, which is always what we go for here at Bingothon. And I think you've done an excellent job explaining what the top runners and being able to keep up with them. Most importantly, you yourself being a top runner.
Absolutely. It's what I do, especially whenever we have like a marathon event or anything like that. I always like to explain to people what's going on, because I understand that when people look at a screen, you see people doing these outlandish things in most speedruns, and they're like, well, what's going on there? How do I put that into my experience of playing the game? So I always try to explain, because I know a lot of people out there, even if they don't want to speedrun, they'd like to just test things out. Anyway, I believe the runners have just joined in.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And what a fantastic run that was. Now, while we don't have super long for an interview. Just if each one of you wants to give a brief sentence or two on how you felt the run went, what could have gone better, how you felt about the board, that kind of thing. And if you do when you've said that, if you want to kind of plug something where the viewers can find more of you playing Resident Evil 5, or indeed more of Resident Evil 5 itself, feel free to do that. So if you want to go in whatever order suits yourselves.
Yeah, just in my opinion, making a full board and go till the end of the game is much more funnier, much more funny. I guess. I think it's better like that. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
Meteor?
And then,
Overall, we had a ton of fun. It was super fun, and we really enjoyed doing that. And thank you so much for having us. And thank you to Yato and Markio and Pheno.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It was super
No
fun.
worries, man.
Yeah. By the way, Markio, how was the run with like no money?
Listen.
I'm
My
sorry
guy
for you.
came in and ruined my day, okay? I had zero money, I had zero ammunition, I struggled a little bit there.
Man.
I wasn't
That's
expecting somebody to be so
Yeah.
so generous.
it is funny actually because Markio is the only person of all people that are in this VC right now from the RE5 community that never ran
Yeah.
no merch nor new game. So
That's right.
it was
That's
a
right.
whole
That's right.
experience for him. That is
right.
a rough. However,
It was rough. I felt like I gave my very best, and that's all I could do, man. You know.
yeah, you did well.
Hopefully, the viewers enjoyed the content, and yeah.
All I
and
can say
if you
is
guys
Thank
want to
you.
see like more of this, RE5 Discord is our main hub. So if anybody wants to join the Discord, you'll find it on SRC, of course. Same with most speedrun Discords. Feel free to join. We're very active in there, very opening, very welcome. And if you want to see more like this, you'll see us in the RE5 Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I leave, I just want to say so I came up with the idea for the community and some people were interested and it's actually crazy that we finally pulled it off.
Yeah.
As of course, this is one of the first versions, so there will be later on more developed ideas and it will become bigger and bigger and have some crazy objective like do a backflip. No, I'm joking. That's not Mario or something, but yeah. Feedback and everything is welcome in the community in case you're in the Discord and you have watched this run and you enjoyed this, want to try it yourself. We make a list, there's a template, and yeah, I can send it if
It's
you
only going to
want.
get better from here, man. We'll just adapt challenges. We'll apply more challenges and have them completely randomized, so it's not like what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've had a really fun time, guys. Thank you so much for doing this alongside me. And Yato, a huge thank you for your brainchild here. It's always fun when we try this. I just want to say a massive thank you to the speedrunning community for Resi 5. We always try to provide support, and new runners are always welcome. It's nice to see that people are still interested in this game. And yeah, we can't wait to see you attempting some of this stuff yourself.
Yes, sir. Also, I think Crumpet and Ace are tired of us, so get us out of here.
Yep.
Well, thank you all very, very much. That was a
Thank you guys.
riveting game to watch. It was very, I'm told it was very, very close. You know, while the score might have a large differential at the moment, it could have really gone either way. Especially, you know, if the game had played out to its full, you know, with the Baguettes having to backtrack to get those last two goals, you know, the Chefs could have easily run away with that.
Yep.
And with you all being world record level players, I think there's nobody better to really show off the game. And I'm sure we've inspired a few people in chat to maybe pick up the game themselves. I know I'm definitely inspired. So thank you all very, very much for that. And Yeah, so thank you all very, very much. We'll be back after a short intermission with our very own Pikastrop's Amnesia the Bunker run. Most bingos in 3 hours, so that'll be another very, very exciting run to watch. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back after this short intermission.
Doctors Without Borders, also known internationally by our French name Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF, is an independent medical humanitarian organization. Founded in 1971, MSF won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. Today we have some 33,000 staff on the ground in roughly 70 countries. We work in communities affected by war, natural disasters, disease outbreaks, chronic neglect, and other crises. We treat people based on medical needs alone, regardless of race, religion, or political affiliation. On any given day, we assist patients who have no other access to healthcare services. Our medical teams can offer critical services such as surgery, maternal care, vaccinations, and mental health counseling. When people are forced from their homes, we focus on treating illnesses and injuries. We work to prevent disease outbreaks in refugee camps and other settlements. We treat malnutrition and the consequences of sexual violence. Our advocacy message is always the same. People at risk should be able to access health care and medical workers, even in active conflict zones, must be able to provide it. And life-saving medicines and vaccines must be affordable and accessible to the people who need them most. The ongoing support of our donors, together with the profound commitment of our aid workers, will allow MSF to provide independent and impartial assistance to people in crises for a long time to come. We know that the future holds many challenges for people around the world, but we also know what's possible when we go where we're most needed with the materials we need to deliver life-saving medical care.
We had an interesting question from Proazek there on if a monorail is a train.
It's out of the park.
I guess, yeah, that is, I mean, she hit the ball.
We didn't say it was a valid hit, alright?
Google says that they are different.
I mean, if we literally follow what the doc says, I guess a monorail is not a train. Friendly fire an ally NPC and sell clothes from Typhon. I guess.
he was beating up Santa Claus and then he got naked, as you do. I mean, it's just a standard Thursday night for Typhon.
Is a tram a train? Probably.
Let me deal with one thing at a time. Can't believe I'm literally just having to Google what is a train.
3,000 years later.
Oh my god, is Prozac still loading?
It does seem to be that, yeah.
Oh my god, they put a boat in their hand and
oh my god, that's
you
amazing!
The goal sheet says you must hit someone with a vehicle and they must be defeated.
I think these requirements are given in this case.
Alright. A series of railroad cars moved as a unit by a locomotive or by integral motor. Wow, that was so unhelpful.
I've got a bingo board in space.
Oh boy.
Whoa, we got yeeted out the car!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your reminder to always wear your seatbelt on a moving vehicle.
Especially while you're trying to destroy your car.
God damn it! Alright, I'm leaving. I can't be in this match anymore because I just realized that ride a train's on the fucking board.